What's happening, people, and welcome back to another episode of Park Lane Podcast. We've reached it, everybody. Episode 100. Pew, 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 pew. Here we are. And what a way to get to our 100th episode, but to talk about a massive 3-0 win away at Manchester United. And to join me, do you know what? For our 100th episode, I was thinking there's going to be all of us. All 5 of us are going to be here. And slowly, one by one, they've all fallen by the wayside. But the trusty Wesley McGrath is here. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. What a week it's been to be a Spurs fan. Obviously, 3 wins. And to top it off, I think in the manner that we did this afternoon away at Old Trafford was just the icing on the cake. Looking forward to getting on to dissecting it all in more detail. And yeah, happy 100th show, Park Lane Podcast.
Oh, love that. Yeah, no, 2 3-0 wins as well this week, which is nice to see. Scored 3 the week before as well, so I think, many goals for us.
Three's the magic number, clearly.
Exactly. Right. What we're going to do, kind of switch it up today. I was going to talk about Qarabag to begin with, but I think, do you know what? Let's just give the people what they want early doors. Let's just give them what they want. Let's talk about Manchester United. Before we do that, there's loads of you in the chat, so please make sure that you are clicking the subscribe button. Make sure you're liking the video as well. We have lost a few subscribers recently, so make sure you're tuning back in, clicking subscribe, because it really, really does help us reach more people. Let's shout out some of you in the chat. Jay will be happy because the FIFA stream is hopefully back tonight. He said, good evening. Thomas has also said good evening. Jay actually said, Coys, always believe in Spurs. What a win. I don't know if there's anybody else in the chat. Let's see who we've got. Oh, where's his mom's here? Saying even all good results.
Yeah.
Thomas has said FC25 streams or FC24. Unfortunately, we are going to still have to play FC24 for another week or two because Winnie still hasn't bought the game and I'm not willing to pay for it for him. So, we'll have to just wait. Kirk and I both have the game, by the way. Just putting that out there. But you'll get there eventually. And Jay has said, happy 100th Park Lane podcast. Thank you very much. Right. Let's crack on, Wes, because we go into a game today, and if we look at the score prediction, we did put on Twitter earlier, there were 2 people went for a draw, including yourself. 3 people went for a win. 1 happened to be by the wheel, so actually it's pretty split between what we thought was going to happen. But give me your thoughts kind of today, because I was speaking to a Liverpool fan, Ben, who was originally on the show before it became Park Lane Podcast, and I was talking to him, and he was saying he didn't know how the game was going to go either, which is interesting because as a Liverpool fan, you'd think that he would expect, or want Spurs to beat Manchester United, but he still didn't know which side was going to turn up. Did you feel like that about today's game?
Yeah, I think with United, especially under Ten Hag, you can never know what United are going to turn up. They have this tendency to kind of pull a performance out of nowhere and nick a result. And there's always sort of a thought, obviously with Spurs, that it could be today, Dr. Tottenham and all that. And then I think with us, okay, we're coming off the back of a couple of wins, so confidence was fairly high, but again, away at a big 6 rival, if you like, we don't tend to do that well. But having said that, I think, today was probably, for me, the best all-round performance from an Ange Postecoglou Tottenham Hotspur team. I think we've absolutely battered United. We've dominated them pretty much for 90 minutes away at Old Trafford. So, I don't think there's many teams that are going to do that and have done that, in recent seasons, even though United have been bad. And I certainly don't think, from a Spurs point of view, we could turn around and go, how many times can we say that we've gone to a big 6 rival away and really dominated them? So, yeah, absolutely buzzing with that one today.
Yeah, definitely. Winnie, give me your thoughts.
Nice to have you, mate.
Do you know what? I didn't see you joined, actually, to be fair.
I'll let you off.
I was like, I'll have a little look, see if he's about. And then I scrolled down and I was like,
I was just sat there enjoying the show, mate. I felt like a viewer. It was great.
Aldra's abusing you as well. So, yeah, give me your thoughts straight after the game. How do you think today went?
Unbelievable. We looked, and again, this is the problem: is it's going to be the emphasis is going to be on how poor Manchester United were, but we have to agree we were fantastic. We really were fantastic. Every player on that pitch was brilliant. Bar Werner, obviously, but yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Was you confident on any of those one-on-ones that Werner had? Because I know I definitely wasn't. But no, look, we were fantastic. It's as simple as that. I'm buzzing because our record at Old Trafford is torrid. It's not good. It's not great viewing when you saw the stats before the game. But yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling because we've come away from there worthy winners, like more than worthy winners. But I fear the emphasis is going to be on how poor Manchester United were as opposed to how good we were.
Yeah, definitely. Though I think that we did dominate, that, and we did really put it to United, which I expected potentially, after half time. I think that's for things to change. But actually, again, Spurs did really, really well after the break. Similarly, like they did against Qarabag, actually, being 1-0 and then coming out early in the second half and getting an early goal really did help kind of cement that position. We did struggle at times. It did worry me a little bit, when we allowed Manchester United into the game a little bit, Wes. But apart from that kind of 5-10 minutes, it really didn't make too much difference, did it?
Yeah, I think you can expect United to have a little bit of a spell. Obviously, they are the home team and stuff like that. And Neville kept saying in commentary today, like they can't continue to be this bad. Like they're gonna and it was just a case of we didn't really let them, which was more the pleasing thing for me. But yeah, I think United are always going to have little spells and moments in the game. But I think the fact that we managed to restrict them to not too many was the pleasing thing for me, and it almost felt like the back four in particular today, whoever was playing took pride in their defending and wanting to keep a clean sheet. And I think that again is another big bonus because obviously we don't tend to keep too many clean sheets. So yeah, it's done wonders for my fantasy team as well because I've got Porro and Van der Ven in there. So yeah. So no, like I say, that was more the pleasing thing for me, like how. Yeah, okay, United had like their moments, but I never felt like we were at risk within the game at like any point, or we were under a bombardment of pressure from United at any real point. It was just like little moments, which, like I say, you fully expect them to have.
Yeah, as you say, there wasn't, even though they had that dominant side of possession, that really wasn't those clear-cut chances that they had to really score against us. And to be honest, even if they did score, I could see us scoring again. Anyway, we were unfortunate to not score 4, 5, or 6 today. Timo Werner had 2 one-on-ones. Dominic Solanke had a one-on-one. And that would have really helped you out as well, Wes, because that was an unbelievable pass from Pedro Porro into Big Dom. But let's talk about him quickly, Winnie, because Wes touched on the defenders. That whoever came into that side took pride in that. But I also think that what we've seen this week from Dominic Solanke has been nothing short of brilliant from him. Whether it's been playing that Kane role, coming deep, collecting the ball, playing it out wide, or like it was today, scoring with a little touch of the ball, or even against Qarabag, getting onto that rebound. He's got both sides of his game, and I think that he's going to be a real asset to this team, isn't he?
Yeah, like I was a huge advocate when I was probably one of very few when we were linked with Solanke. I was all for it. I was all on board with the signing. For me, it's irrelevant how much we pay. It's not my money. I don't care. I just want the players. I don't really care. I want the players on board to do that. I think you're going to do a job. And I knew, like for our system, we press high and we win the ball back high and we create an attack from that moment. And that's one of Big Dom's strengths is he presses so high and he wins the ball back, and we've seen that. And I mean, all I've got to do is just touch on his goal. That is just pure instinct. Like as a striker, as a pure striker instinct. If you watch the replay, everyone is going in one direction apart from Solanke, who is going in the opposite direction. He's the only one there to anticipate that little flick to get the little nick into the goal, and that's what we want him to do. And I mean, like 3-3 now. He's clearly come in to do a job, and the thing is with Spurs fans, we were quick to get on his back, or not me specifically, a few Spurs fans were quick to get on his back, going, "What a waste of money! He ain't scored, he hasn't done this." But I mean, look, 3-3 now. we're seeing exactly what we wanted. And, we're seeing, like, I'm not going to compare him to Kane because nobody is like Harry Kane, but the way he drops deep and he holds the ball up and links people into play, it's what we've missed. We haven't had that. We tried to get that with Richarlison, and Richarlison just isn't that type of player. So yeah, I was a huge fan of Solanke when we signed him, and me personally, I think he's only going to go on to be even better than what he's doing now. So
yeah, Wes, I want to actually ask you the same question. You're being a footballing man, a footballing coach. Are you liking what you're seeing from Solanke? Like, what I was impressed with against Qarabag so much was how good he was at trying to help us retain possession and being able to then bring in other players when we were down to 10 men.
Yeah, no, I think I've taken a real liking to Dominic Solanke in the last couple of games in particular. I think the amount of work that he does for the team as well is ridiculous. Like, the amount of ground that he covers as well, again, is, nothing short of sublime, really. And I think we've seen that in terms of a couple of goals that we've scored recently is off the back of him, putting pressure on defenders and making them, make a mistake. And then the good thing is we're capitalising on those. I think there was a couple of times today we didn't do that. But I think what Dominic Solanke has brought to this team is a real focal point, as when he kind of touched on that we didn't have last year with Richarlison. And I think he's, all right, a lot of his goals have been, sort of in and around, 6, 8, 10 yards. But again, like last year, we didn't really have anybody that would pick up those little scraps. So I think, the fact that he's doing that is brilliant. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Dominic Solanke. Obviously, I wasn't one to say like, yeah, let's go and really get him. Because of it was more like the outlay versus his output. But I have to say he's making me eat my words, and I did say I'd love to be proved wrong, and I think I am getting proved wrong by Dominic Solanke, because yeah, he's somebody that I can get behind and enjoy watching as well, and appreciate the work that he does and he gets through in however long he's on the pitch, whether that be 90 minutes or whatever. So yeah, he's really impressed me, and I think he's one of those players that you don't understand like how good he is until you watch him and go and watch him live. And I think once you do that, you'll see, okay, yeah, I understand now why Ange was sort of hell bent on getting him in.
Yeah, 100%. He's you did mention he's only scoring goals around the 6, 8, 10 yard mark, but it doesn't really matter, right? You've got to get yourself into that position. And even for the goal today, while the defenders are moving or standing still, he's made a run. I think you see it when you see the reverse angle from Papsar's header, but he's deliberately making that run and saying, I'm going to get into that space in case there's a flick on, and then it's all mine. And that's pretty much exactly what he did, and that's what you can ask from him, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, that as a striker, you have to value those tap-ins and the scrappy goals as well as the worldies, that, the ones that fly in the top corner or look great because they've pinged off the crossbar or the post. And yeah, I think he's just getting those, little scrappy goals at the moment. I'm sure he will bag a couple of worldies, I'm sure, like throughout the season. But listen, I think we've missed that kind of poacher, that penalty box centre forward. So the fact that he's operating in and around that box and getting his rewards from it, will only help the team, moving forwards.
Yeah, 100%. And talking about worldies, we nearly did see a worldie from Mikey Moore towards the end of the game, but that will come as well, I'm sure. Talking about worldies, we've got a worldie of a player, Winnie, haven't we, at centre back? Old Daddy Longlegs, as Holly likes to call him. But Mickey van der Ven, Jay said it here, what an assist. Van der Ven. I mean, he picks up a loose ball from Marcus Rashford's heavy touch, and him and Garnacho kind of do nothing, and don't even bother trying to track back. And Van der Ven takes a couple of steps, and then he just seems to go, no one's closing me down. And it was like reminiscent of an assist he's already made, but also reminiscent of that Puskas goal that Son scores, where he just keeps going and then nicks it past him. But after all of that, to be able to have the calmness of, being a centre back, to just smash it across the face of the goal, I don't think I've seen our wingers put in as good an assist as that, as in from the byline and cut it back perfectly as he's done, and just an unbelievable footballer, isn't he?
He's just like I've said it. I said it before. Probably on the pod. It may not have been, but I'll say it again. He is, for me. He's like the Haaland equivalent of a centre back. He looks like he's just not. He's not. He's like he's made in a lab. It looks like it genuinely looks like, other than his hamstrings, he has no weakness. That's what it looks like to me. Like, he can do absolutely everything, and he's an absolutely gorgeous bloke as well. Do you know what I mean? He's literally got it all. But yeah, as you say, like, I don't know any other centre back in the Premier League. The only person that used to do it was Joel Matip for Liverpool. He used to make runs like that. But there's nobody in my knowledge now who can do that. And what a player we have. There was one point that touch where he got to the byline. I thought he'd knocked it a bit too far, but he's absolutely rapid and he made up for it. But as you say, the calmness to put that ball in, that is a very difficult ball to play whilst running at speed, because he got so much power on it to get it to the back post. And credit to Johnson to be there to tap it in. But yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is it's obviously a fantastic run, but it's all too reminiscent of. I'm not sure if you saw United against FC20 in the midweek. The FC20's equaliser was exactly the same. Some players just ran through the whole of the Man United midfield all the way through. So, possibly there's something to address there defensively for Man United, but taking nothing away from Van der Ven, because, yeah, absolutely astonishing. I'm running out of words to say for him, because he's just that good.
Yeah, he's really, really good. And as you say, for a centre back, it's interesting you actually mentioned Joel Matip, because again, when I was speaking to my mate Ben, a Liverpool fan, like, he mentioned that in a conversation today. He was like, he's very similar to the way that he likes to make runs and things like that. So let's just hope he doesn't score an own goal. But, it's a very niche moment. But anyway, talking about players playing well, Wes, Brennan Johnson finally is starting to look like the player that we signed, and it looks like he's the kind of player that I've been saying all along, that plays on confidence. Because again today, the little touch out of feet and the goal that he scored was a really, really good finish.
Yeah, no, I think Johnson is a massive, massive confidence player. You can tell once he's got, like an arm around the shoulder, a bit of love in, he looks to excel. I think everybody can see that. Listen, I think there's still massive gaps in his game, and he still needs to improve massively. I'd just like to see him just be a lot more direct and just go at his opponent, because he's got the speed to do it, almost sort of like Aaron Lennon-ish, in the sense of, when Lennon used to get the ball, he would just run at you, like, no matter if he lost it, next time he'd do exactly the same thing. But yeah, no, I think it's nice that he's, come into a bit of form. It's ironic that we had to kind of abuse him on social media for it to happen and like bully him off of Instagram, for him to kind of, get his backside into gear. But I think his response has been the perfect response. A couple of goals, a lot more getting involved in attacking play, putting some decent balls into the box. I think his attacking output in games has got a lot better. It's just ironic that, it's come off the back of some really big criticism, and he's had to get off Instagram to kind of make it happen. But yeah, still a long way to go, but he's starting to hopefully, show signs of what type of player he could be.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we spoke about it last week, where we said, we don't see him as a player that it plays in a team where Spurs are successful. And I don't mean that, in a bad way whatsoever. We simply mean, he is a good player for right now, but I don't see him, being able to progress so much that he becomes kind of a world beater and a player that gets you off your seat. And as you say, that's really what you want from, especially an Ange Postecoglou team with wide players, because the wingers are meant to stay high and wide. And to be fair on Timo Werner today, that may be all that he did, but that's what he did. He was high and he was wide, and there was so much space then in the middle for us to be able to play, and that helps with Van der Ven being able to run through the middle and so on. But as you say, for Johnson, it's always a touch, pass it back to Pedro Porro or into Kulusevski or whoever's there, rather than, as you say, kind of taking on his man and making that run. It just reminds me when you talk about Aaron Lennon, when he's running away and passed it into Peter Crouch against AC Milan.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Talk about Aaron Lennon making a run.
I mean, he's my idol for a reason. It's not just based off that, but yeah, no. But no, I think like you said there, Luke, about Brennan Johnson, like he's got that capability. But I think Werner being high and wide, he was definitely high today. That's for sure. I don't know if he was wide or anything, but he was certainly high on something today, Timo Werner, because I'm sure we'll probably get onto it. But yeah, it wasn't his finest hour, shall we say, in a Spurs shirt.
You know what? While we're here, let's talk about it. Winnie, I'll come to you first. Like, I felt like in the first half, I felt like he was playing all right. He had some good touches. I felt like he had a bit of confidence. But twice in today's game, he made brilliant runs, was through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And okay, Onana, shot stopping, we saw it last week against Palace. He is a decent shot stopper, I will be honest. But, he has to score. The goalkeeper goes down. He has to just hit it into the air and he scores. Do you know what I mean? Just lean back a little bit, hit it into the far corner. There's a finish there, and I'm not even very good at football. But, the other option is he's good with his feet. Take it round. There's so many options on, but I feel like with Werner, either he doesn't want to be in that position, which sounds strange, like he'd rather kind of be the other person that just makes passes around and is kind of there, or whether he just has no confidence. Like, what do you think's going on with him? Because he has football ability. We've seen it.
For me, it just looks like someone who is not confident in front of goal. It's as simple as that. I think we deploy him as a winger, and his real duty is to, what I said, what I put in the group chat. I said, typically, I think what we might see today is why we're using Werner is one, I didn't want to interrupt the midfield anyway, but I thought, one thing that Werner does well, and it's probably the only thing he does well, is he'll make that one quick shift onto his left foot, or right foot really, and he'll just drive that ball across the 6-yard box for someone to tap it in. And that's what I thought Solanke would, what kind of would happen today. But yeah, he's just not a goal scorer. That's just what we have to just accept it. Look, Sonny's gone missing today, injury obviously, and we brought Werner in, and he didn't have a fantastic game, but I also don't think he had a stinker as such. You could say he's missed 2 chances that he probably should have scored, so maybe that would determine that he did have a stinker. But players miss chances all the time. Do you know what I mean? It just happens to be that Werner had 2 very good chances. But I mean, the first one where he ran through from the halfway line, as soon as he put through, because I was watching it with some friends, as soon as he got put through, I went, he ain't scoring this. He ain't scoring. It's as simple as that. And lo and behold, he went through, and it looked like there was no purchase on the shot. It looked like he almost kind of like scuffed it a little bit. And for me, there's just no confidence in front of goal. But he's not our focal point striker. So you could argue the same for Brennan Johnson post. Before he had this little confidence boost, he looked devoid of confidence in front of goal also. So I put it this way: I don't want him to be starting every week. But for someone who comes in and does a bit part, like you say, I think he looked okay in parts. There was times when he beat his man a few times as well. So there was one cutback where he should have found a man, and he ended up putting it way behind everyone as well. So yeah, he didn't have a great game, but I also didn't think he had an absolute stinker.
Yeah, definitely. Wes, do you agree with that statement?
I think he's had a bit of a. I agree. I completely agree with Winnie though, in the sense of he's so shot of any confidence. Like it's ridiculous. But then, like, to be fair, like if he's been put through in those types of situations, confident or not, you still have to like back yourself to score. Yeah. And it's just one of those where as he's going through.
Put it this way, me running through that first third chance, I'm bagging that. I'm telling you now, I'm bagging it.
I'd back myself to bag both of those as well. And I haven't played football in a while, but he doesn't look like he's confident. Like when he's getting played through, like you have to back yourself in those moments, and it looks like he's not. If for example Kane or Son were in those positions, the net's going to ripple. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're talking about a 4-5, maybe even a 6. Well, agents on and all that. He's gonna redeem himself in the cup game. Is Sonny, but then all of a sudden we're talking about a 5-6 away at Old Trafford. That's for Tottenham, that is ridiculously rare. You just as he's going through, as when he was saying to his mates, like, you just know he's not going to score. Like, he could balloon it genuinely into Rosette, and somebody will look at it and you just go, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, it wouldn't shock you as a Spurs fan that if he's through 1v1 that he is going to put it into, like I say, into Rosette. So yeah, I just want Werner to do so much more. It feels like his name and reputation is preceding him at the moment, because when you say the name of Timo Werner, you automatically think, oh yeah, like, brilliant player, da-da-da. But what we're seeing is like literally the complete opposite. It's just somebody just so shot of confidence, and I wouldn't say he doesn't want to be at Tottenham. Obviously, he's come back and everything else, but it just feels like he's not the same Timo Werner that, I wouldn't say burst onto the scene, but hit a really good run of form at Leipzig, and it's why Chelsea spent the money that they did on him. So yeah, I just want to see him do a little bit more. If he's on the ball, like, try and take somebody on a little bit, and go at them at real speed and drive at somebody, commit a defender every now and then, instead of just kind of running down like a blind alley. He's a bit like German Lucas Moura is what I'm gonna nickname him, basically.
He's going to score a hat-trick in Champions League semi-final.
Well, Europa League semi-final, we'll take it. As long as if he sends us to Bilbao, I'll eat my words.
Amazing. As I said, it feels like he's happy to be there and be playing, and he'll do his part. But it's like he doesn't want really, like, he makes those runs, but it's like he doesn't really want to be in that position. It's always like, I'll just make the pass backwards rather than kind of make that driving run, as you say. And it is a shame for him, because I completely disagree with what you're saying about how, when you think of the name Timo Werner, you think, oh, what a player. I think actually what's happening is now he's gone the complete opposite direction now. And you say the name Timo Werner and you think, bang average player, rather than what he was at Leipzig. And so it's a bit of a shame, really. But talking about one player whose name you wouldn't be thinking like that, Winnie, is Dejan Kulusevski. I felt like today he was absolutely sensational. Probably the best player on the park. I felt like he was great holding the ball up. He was great at running behind when he went to play right wing. He's so diverse. He loves playing in that middle role now. Great finish for his goal. I don't think he did anything wrong today.
No, and this is why I did get some question marks when I put it in the WhatsApp group. Like, we just cannot disrupt that midfield. When I said Werner has to start, I know it's controversial, but Werner has to start. We could not disrupt that midfield. Like, I think although I think he does a job on the wing, he's just wasted. He's so wasted out there, that he's Decky, and like he's just. I always knew there was a player in there. I've seen good footballers over the time, like through playing football and obviously watching football. I've seen good players, and I know, I'd like to think I know someone that's got something about them when I see it. So, you can see the technical ability he's got, the determination he's got. He is an absolute engine as well, by the way. Like in the 85th, 90th minute, he's still making powerhouse runs down the right hand side. Like, he's an absolute engine. So, yeah, I thought he was brilliant. He took his goal brilliantly as well. And for me, I would be keeping him in that central role 100%. Even if it means playing Werner until Son's back. Look, I'll make that sacrifice. Let's just do it, because we can't disrupt that midfield. Like I said, it's the most stable we've looked in a midfield in a very, very long time, because we've tinkered with it. We've gone, okay, what if we play Sarr, Basuma and Bentancur? What if we play Maddison, Sarr and Bentancur? What if we, do you know what I mean? All these different... And we've put Decky in there, and we did it, when we played him in the number 10 role before, and we were like, oh, hang on, like, he kind of suits this role. And then we've tried it again now, and he's kind of made a name for himself there. And for me, like, you don't change a winning formula. So for me, that midfield is working as it is, unless it's obviously injury forced, or when Bentancur eventually gets his 89 match ban or whatever it's going to be. Then we'll have to change it up. But for me, I'd just keep that midfield as it is. But yeah, Kulusevski, absolutely phenomenal today, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I agree as well, and that's where kind of it shows a big middle finger up to those who say that Ange can't tweak his system, because he has tweaked his system to allow two attacking-minded players in that rather than kind of two more defensive style players. You could say that the system's still the same because Maddison effectively roams a bit more, but I mean, so he will then end up playing more box to box, I suppose. But you can't. I agree with you. You can't change that. What I would probably be doing after seeing Mikey Moore today is saying, why not? I'm often a little bit like, oh, we shouldn't put these players into this position too early. But I mean, he's had 15 minutes today. He's looked great. He had a few minutes the other night as well. Looked good. I don't see the problem with if you're going to give him minutes in the first team, why not? Why not give him? Because you're not really going to get much difference between Timo Werner and Mikey Moore. Like, one of them already has or is having a shocker, and so why not just bring the other player in? He can't do any worse. That type of attitude. But let's move on and let's quickly talk about that game at home against Qarabag, because it was our first game back in Europe. Wes, it didn't get off to the best start with Dragashin getting sent off after 7 minutes. He didn't really help himself. Spurs didn't help themselves because they're just leaving one player at the back. That's, I suppose, the issue when you play this high line and you don't have, Roadrunner as your centre back. But kind of, we end up winning 3-0. It looks much better than it is because we miss a penalty. They miss a penalty. They missed open goals. It's all kind. But the scoreline's all that matters, and we get 3 points, 3 goals, and in this league format, that's what matters.
Yeah, and I thought you had to park the bus when you have 10 players, because I thought that was the formula to get a result with 10 men. But obviously Dragashin didn't quite help himself. I think he's just dwelt a little bit too much on the ball. And then obviously the Qarabag players nipped in and he's had to really bring him down. Sort of took one for the team. Felt for Bergvall because I just felt he was just starting to grow and influence in the game. But I was saying to my dad, like, he's probably the only. Well, I wouldn't say the only one, but he's probably the easier one to sort of take off, if you like. Young kid, sort of making his way in. But yeah, I thought really professional performance. I'd actually argue Thursday was harder than today as well. Like, genuinely, I actually thought Qarabag weren't that bad. Like,
no, they were really good.
Yeah, I was saying to my dad as well at the game, I was like, they've got some great power league players, like some wicked five-a-side lads that you'd have in there. Like the two in midfield, you could tell they've been about a little bit and kind of just, we'll end up here, have it nice and easy, just get on the ball, spray it left and right, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought Qarabag
when we need to.
Yeah, and it's just, like I say, Qarabag looked pretty decent. They probably should have scored about 4. They had 4 gilt-edged chances as well that they've missed on Thursday. But yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised with what I saw. Like, if you were a Qarabag fan, you would probably enjoy watching that style of football like every week. And there's a part of you that goes, well, you can see why they keep getting in Europe every year because of the way they play. They're just obviously, on Thursday weren't clinical enough in front of goal, which ironically is, you could argue, has been our problem for most of the season. But yeah, no, really professional performance, and got in, kind of got the job done under fairly difficult circumstances, obviously going down to 10 men, and points on the board to kickstart the Europa League campaign in a good way. So yeah, on to Ferencvaros, I think it is, on Thursday away.
Yeah, exactly. Winnie, what did you make of the game? Because I think I agree with Wes. They did play nice football. Like, let's not forget, if it wasn't for late goals against Leverkusen last season, they'd have knocked Leverkusen out of the Europa League as well. So they're not, a terrible footballing team. My benefit was always like, we're playing them at home. We don't have to travel to Azerbaijan. But actually, it nearly was like the proper worst possible scenario for Spurs, and being a Spurs fan. Like, when we went down to 10 men against Qarabag, all I could see in the back of my brain was like all my mates just absolutely laying into us, like Twitter going off the chain, like, oh, this is typical Spurs. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I honestly didn't know how we were going to take to going down to 10 men so early. But to be fair, I think we dealt with it quite well. I mean, obviously they did have gilt-edged chances, as Wes has pointed out. And on another day, they could have scored 4 or 5 easily, but they didn't. So I still feel like it's the Ange way, isn't it? Even down to 10 men, we were still like, you know what? We're just going to have to outscore them. Like, let's just let them have chances. If they get 5, we'll have to score 6. You know what I mean? This is just what we're going to have to do now. And you know what? You know, we were clinical when we needed to be. And again, another. It was Solanke scored, didn't he? Or I made that up.
Yeah.
It was a sunny shot, wasn't it? Where he powered it out to Solanke. And again, this is what we're talking about with Big Dom, is that just that instinct. Like, I'm a striker myself, and I know if someone's taking a shot, I'm just going to follow it in, because not even, as you can see, even professional goalkeepers, they're going to spill it every now and then. So he's there on hand to knock it in. So it could have been a lot worse, but you know, we've got 3 points on the board now in this weird new system that I still don't think anyone knows what's going on, to be honest. I don't have a clue. I'm just looking at the league table going, okay, we need to be in this top 8. So I'll just keep top 8. As long as we're in and around there, I'll be quite pleasantly surprised. But it's weird. But, you know, the games are coming thick and fast. Like, we've got another game Thursday, which is mental. So, there's, you know, more Spurs to watch, I suppose. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. Unless we play.
100%. And, you know, away in Budapest. Are you going, did I hear you say?
I wanted to go, but it's come around. I needed it to be a bit closer to the end of the year, rather than like be like, well, this, yeah.
I know, that'd be a lovely little away trip, wouldn't it? I'm jealous of those going away to Budapest on a Thursday night. Stay for the weekend. Why not?
I think my dad might be going, by the way.
Who's going?
My dad, I think.
Oh, what an absolute lad!
He loves it. Yeah, he absolutely loves it.
Amazing. Yeah, a few days in Budapest. Come home. Yeah. Do the home game on. It's away. Isn't it away at Brighton? Yeah. Nice. Why not? Have a weekend in Budapest. Take your missus with you. Why not? Or your husband. You know, whoever you want. Take your gran. Why not? She'll love it as well. But to be fair, I did watch. Moving on to Ferencváros, I did watch them a couple of years ago in a really weird Champions League game against Celtic at Celtic Park, and they weren't like, you know, then this is a couple of seasons ago, but they weren't anything to write home about. So then I think they beat them 2-0, I think, on the night. So Celtic did. So it was pretty. Actually, to be fair, Ange was probably the manager at the time, which I didn't even think about until right this second. So bit of early scouting. Anyway, let's quickly talk about that game. Any thoughts, Wes, on Thursday night's Europa League game?
I expect us to go there and win. I think the only problem that I have is that these are the types of games for Spurs that we seriously slip up on. Yeah. Like, you know, even looking back to the Conference League, like Vitesse away, like that should have been get in, get the job done, get out, you know, good night Vienna type thing. So yeah, these are the types of games that we really struggle with. So I'm hoping that, you know, we can obviously get there and get that job done. Because I think if we were to have 2 games, 2 wins, it puts us in a really strong position in the league phase. And I know we've got trickier games coming up as well. Obviously, the likes of Roma, Galatasaray away. So, I expect quite a few changes as well. Wouldn't shock me if we had a similar team out to the one that was against Coventry, more so than Qarabag. I was quite surprised that Ange didn't make more changes almost for Qarabag. So yeah, no, like I say, I'm fully expecting us to go and get the win, and if we don't, I'll be extremely disappointed.
Yeah, talking about those games, if anyone fancies bunging me a Rangers ticket, then let me know. I mean, 5 minutes down the road, well, a bit longer than that, but 20 minutes and I'll be there. So hook a brother up, you know. Willie, what are you thinking about Thursday night's game?
Yeah, I think Wes has absolutely hit the nail on the head. It is a potential. If ever I've seen a potential top banana skin, it's this match. But it'll be interesting to see what he does with his lineup. I think that'll be the key. After seeing Mikey Moore today, I wouldn't be against him starting. I really wouldn't. He come in today and didn't look out of place at all. Had a very good effort. You know, on another day that could have crept in top binnage. You know, it would have been an absolutely astounding way to kind of make your name in the Premier League. So I wouldn't be against him starting. But look, it's a potential banana skin. We know that. But we need to just beat Tottenham and just go there with confidence. Because I think that's what it is if a confident Tottenham goes there. I mean, if we play our football like we did today, we'll play them off the park. I have no doubt about that. But if we, the very unconfident Tottenham go there and we misplace a pass in the first 20 seconds and put through on goal or something like that, it'd be very easy for the crowd to get on top of us and the old Tottenham to come back and kind of go into our shell a little bit. So it just depends what Tottenham turns up and what kind of lineup Ange goes with. But if it's similar to Qarabag, I felt he went very strong against Qarabag, to be honest. I didn't feel like he needed to go that strong, but I mean, look, we've come out against old Tottenham. We did. That's what I'm saying. So it's obviously worked, but look, hopefully he goes relatively strong and doesn't just put a complete second team out, because I had no confidence in that Coventry side, and quite clearly I shouldn't have, because we probably should have gone out that game. So hopefully he goes like a mixture of first and second. It doesn't just go complete second string.
Yeah, I'd expect to see kind of Archie Gray right back again. Bergvall, I expect to see him.
Archie Gray, by the way, who was phenomenal against Qarabag.
Oh, you didn't like him?
Listen, coming out of Thursday for Archie Gray, I was like, and I'm just putting Thursday in isolation. It was like he's a player for us with the ball, so he's a player for the ball. Like defensively, I thought he was absolutely shocking. Genuinely. Like when the Qarabag wingers were coming up against him, I'm like, well, are you going to get tight to him or what? Like, you're going to get the winger's head down here, and I'm there like, okay. So then, obviously, I know he's played at right back, and I know there's a massive difference playing 20 odd games for Leeds in the Championship at right back. But having said that, some of the wingers in the Championship ain't half bad, by the way. They definitely start. They definitely start for Qarabag, 100%. But yeah, I definitely see his future, Archie Gray, as a midfielder, 100%, just off the back of Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, defensively, I'm like, oh my word, like what's going on here? Yeah. But on the ball, he was fantastic. It was more defensively that I was a bit like, oh, okay.
I think he was put under a lot more pressure as well because of us going down to 10 men. He's had to make a lot more defending. But I agree, like he's not naturally strong or naturally like that good at defending, which means that without the ball, it's a lot harder for us. With the ball, where he can go into midfield and he can do quick, intricate passing, like it's ideal for him. And that's why I think for a while he will play at right back for Spurs when he does, because of how the fullbacks go inverted anyway. He's naturally then be drifting into a position that he knows. But as you say, that's the issue with him is a defensive way.
Yeah, because it was his distances away from the winger, and it was just a little bit too far. Like you look at Porro, and I know probably a little bit unfair to compare because Porro is naturally a right back, but Porro's distances away from his winger more often than not are really good. And that's the thing. Like if Archie Gray's going to play at right back, he needs to do a lot more work, like defensively. Like put it this way: if I was one of the coaches at Spurs, I'd be having him on the Friday. I'd have had him doing extras, just like 1v1. Get one of the wingers out of the youth and just go, right, because we want to work with him on becoming better. So, then you go into detail about distances, body shapes, and blocking and intercepting and everything else. So, I mean, Archie, if you want to fancy a one-on-one in Milton Keynes, mate, I'm about, to be fair.
Is it pro bono?
Absolutely love that.
So yeah, no. If like I say, if he's about and fancies a one-on-one, I'm not that far from the Hotspur way. To be fair, just about an hour.
I'd say, so. You know what, Wes? I'd say fancy a one-on-one. I'll come to you. You don't even worry about it, mate.
Yeah. I've got my van.
You'll make him drive to Milton Keynes.
Well, yeah. Why not? He can meet up with Deli after. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, brilliant. Right, let's move on to next weekend's game. Now, there's three of us in today's show, which means there will be definitely 3 score predictions. I will let you know Dave did give me a score prediction about midday, so I've got his. But Callum, who is in the chat, I'm not going to accept your score prediction during the show this week because we made it clear last week, didn't we, Wes? It was before the show.
Oh, I've just seen Callum's comment. Just seen his comment for his score prediction as well.
Oh dear. What a shame.
I think Winnie's got to decide this week. I decided last week, so it's Winnie's turn this week.
Are you going to take it or not?
Nope.
Nope. Ooh.
No,
Straight to
no, no.
Right, so for those in the chat, do get your score predictions in for the game against Brighton. We are away at Brighton next weekend. So, boys, let's start with you, Winnie. Let's discuss. You know, they got beat by Chelsea quite comfortably. They don't seem the Brighton that they were under De Zerbi.
Yeah.
Do you think we could be having any issues with Brighton?
I look at that fixture when it comes around as a fixture that I'm not 100% confident going into, but like you say, they do look a completely different side under the De Zerbi, other than the De Zerbi side. So they got dispatched quite comfortably against Chelsea. So it's kind of like the unknown going into the unknown kind of thing. Like, I don't really know what. I'd like to think we'll go into it with a lot of confidence, and they'll probably, potentially going into it devoid of confidence. So maybe that's a good enough swing for us to go there. I don't. Is it away?
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I just don't like. I don't like watching Spurs go there because I can't remember the last time we went there and played well. To be honest, we normally go there and get battered. So look, the Tottenham at the minute, we've won we won our last 4 games, haven't we, in all competitions? So it's looking good. So maybe we can go in there and do a job this time compared to how we have done in probably the last 2 or 3 years there.
Yeah, do you feel the same, Wes? Because I watched them last weekend against Nottingham Forest, and okay, Forest may have improved slightly under Nuno, but I mean, they're still not a side that you should be, as a side Brighton who are challenging for Europe and things like that, and everyone talked really highly about. I don't think this manager's bad. I just think that it's a step up in the Premier League, and with that Brighton side, they are running on a model where they buy cheap, sell high, and keep doing it that way. I didn't find them that impressive against Nottingham Forest. Even at 10 men, Nottingham Forest still got back into the game and got an equaliser. So, do you kind of feel the same way, or do you think that we could be, taken apart by Brighton?
It's an awkward one. I'm a bit with Winnie on it in the sense of our record at the Amex isn't the best. We don't tend to do well there, but at the same time, it's like I think Brighton this year for me, whenever I've watched them, probably yesterday aside, and even probably Sunday last week, I think they've been really good. I like the philosophy that this new manager's bringing in, the playing style. He's shifted the back line up at least another 10-15 yards. They play really, really high. I'm quite surprised that he's decided to do that, considering he's got Lewis Dunk at the back who can't shift. He's absolutely awful, Lewis Dunk. Genuinely, how he's been getting England recognition, I don't know. Ahead of Tomori as well, by the way. So, yeah, I think Brighton away is always an awkward one for Tottenham. But, yeah, I think we could nick a win. I think we'll nick a win. I don't think it will be as comfortable as this week has been. I mean, today for majority of the second half, we had our cigars out and we were like in second gear. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I can't see it being that type of game, but I think it'll be a really good game at the same time. You spoke about Forest. Yeah, okay, they went down to 10 men, and it's Nottingham Forest who we suspect will be, fighting against relegation or being lower mid-table, but they've still got game changers like in their forward line. They've still got, Hudson-Odoi or Elanga that can, make something happen. Obviously Gibbs White, until he got sent off, a terrific player as well. Which I don't even think that was a red card personally, by the way. I thought it was a brilliant tackle. Yeah. So yeah, Forest do have some good players towards the top end of the pitch. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, I think, away at Brighton. But I think we can come away with a win.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that statement at all. Callum has said concern with me after he's both senior centre backs twice this week. Obviously, he's talking about Dragashin being sent off and not being able to play in the Europa League. But I don't see why we can't just shift him across or shift Ben Davies across and just play Van de Ven and Ben Davies. I don't see why we'd have to play with Romero. Winnie, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, let's not forget. In terms of that position, obviously not in centre back, but if we need to adopt people into different positions, we've got Sergio Reguilon, who's registered in the Premier League. So if we need to use him in the Premier League, if we need to use a different different system in the Europa League, we can do that. But look, these players, the footballers moan about all these games they've got, but look, if asked upon, I could play on a I'd like to think on a Thursday and a Sunday. So.
Right. So first of all, you've said you would have scored Timo Werner's chance, and now you're saying if you were playing it for Tottenham, you played both Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've got no way of actually quantifying whether that would actually happen or not. But
well, I can tell you now, I 100% would have bagged that Werner chance. I'm sticking by that. Maybe the Thursday.
The bagsman for nothing.
To be fair, the Thursday Sunday thing, maybe I'll be aching quite a lot. But
you have an underlying injury.
Sorry.
You don't have an underlying injury that
maybe. Who's asking?
Ange.
Yeah. I don't have the professional setup. I can't get a massage and a rub down every single day. I wish I could, but I can't afford to do that. If I did, I might be able to stretch Thursday, Sunday.
I would say only because Davis wasn't in the squad, probably because he's shit. That's probably why he's in the squad.
I like Ben Davis.
I think if you're going to put another centre back in, you'd put Dragishin in, right? There's no need to put Dragishin and Ben Davis in when you've got Jed Spence who can play left back cover, to be fair. But I don't know. Could be wrong. Right. What are my thoughts on Brighton? I think we should beat them. Not that I'm, putting all my cards on the table about my score prediction, but, we're going to beat them. Let's beat them.
I think we're going to have some interesting score predictions here, to be honest.
Yeah?
I really do.
Do you know what? Let's start with some of the chat. So I'm not going to read Callum's. His mum has gone 4-1 Spurs.
Wow.
Obviously watched the rerun of Match of the Day yesterday and thought, right, if Chelsea can score 4, we might be in with half a shout.
Jay has gone 3-1 Spurs as well. Dave, if I pull his up, has gone 3-2 Spurs, by the way. Do we want Callum to go last or next?
Get him next. Get the wheel on.
Get the wheel. Okay, here we go.
Spin the wheel.
Love
right.
it.
So this is for Callum's score prediction away at Brighton. We're getting battered. 4-1. So Callum has got a score prediction of 4-1 Brighton.
Fair play. Which could happen, let's be honest.
It nearly happened last year, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying. So,
right. There we go. We're back.
Right,
4-1 Brighton for Callum. I will go next, and I'm going to go. Well, we've beaten Brentford 3-1. Then we beat Qarabag 3-0. Then we beat United 3-0. So I'm going to go back to 3-1 and 1-3. So 3-1 Spurs. Wes, what are you going for?
2-1 Spurs.
And Winnie, what are you going for?
Right. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Well, he's going conservative, isn't he? Callum has joined, apparently. The lady in my ear told me.
That's because he doesn't want that score prediction. That's why.
Well, I'm going to get stuck with that bloody score prediction, aren't I? One way or another, so I got a choice.
How you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't on this week. I'm just driving back from London still, so
do you know what? Sorry to intercept this. Obviously, I was given the decision, wasn't I? Do you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice for once, Callum. I'm going to allow you to have your prediction now because you've put to be fair to you, you've put yourself through the effort. You've signed on. You're here. Scrap the wheel prediction. Give us your prediction.
Job. You wouldn't have scored that chance at Vernon missed. That attitude you would have.
Yes, I would.
No, I'm going to stick with it. A 3-1 Spurs win, I think. I reckon we've got enough about us to go against them.
Nice. And what do you think of today's game, mate?
I was listening to it on the radio, so it was definitely amazing experience doing it. And I've seen the goals, and yeah, I think that we was outstanding. Probably the best I've seen us play since first 10 games of last season, I reckon. I think it's one of them performances where we dominated everything. Their midfield couldn't handle us. We shut out their front line. It was just quality across the board, to be honest. And I don't think anyone had a bad performance. I mean, I was slagging Werner off all week on Twitter, and even he had a really decent performance, apart from the one aspect that we would hope is being a striker for it. But no, I thought everyone was really good, and they stepped up. And even before Fernandes getting sent off, we were dominating. I don't think it had made any difference whether he was on the pitch or not. To be honest, they were just abysmal, and I'm really concerned for Man United fans. To be honest.
Yeah, quickly, can I just jump in? Because we haven't talked about it, and I think it's come under some
Fernandes.
It's come under some controversy on Twitter. What did you make of the Fernandes red card? Did you think it was a red card?
I think he lunges in, but I think he also slips. I think the slip comes before the lunge, and therefore it's not a red card.
Really?
I think, granted, he slipped, but I don't think I've ever seen when anybody slipped and then gone into a challenge that their leg has then gone that high. I thought my initial reaction was yellow card. Seeing it again and having seen a replay of it, I think, he's ridiculously high with his leg. Like, he goes down Madders' shin pretty much. So, yeah, for me, I don't think you could pretty much argue with a red card, to be honest.
What's on your sticker?
What? I've stopped in McDonald's to actually jump on with you guys.
What you got?
I've got chicken selects. And...
No, your sticker. You Monopoly sticker.
Fuck knows, I ain't got no nails, so I can't fucking feel it. That's a failure.
There's some issue with your mic for some reason, Callum, so we'll just mute you for the time being. But, hold on, let's see. Wait.
I thought we was getting abducted by an alien then.
No, there's some mad static on the line. But thank you for tuning in. I feel harsh, but never mind. Winnie, what did you think of it? Was it a red card for you?
I think he had the opportunity to retract his leg at one point, and like Wes said, I think even though he slipped, he did slip. It wasn't intentional. I still think he tried to be a bit petulant and bring the player down, bring Madders down, but unfortunately caught him. So for me, I think maybe the red card. I feel like the ref may be a bit too quick to get the red card out, because I think normally refs of old they would have maybe given a yellow card and let VAR intervene and go, okay, I think he should upgrade it to a red. But he stuck to his guns. He thought it was a red and he pulled it out. So you kind of got to give him credit on that.
Yeah, definitely. Callum, did you think it was a red card for Fernandes?
I'm going to echo what the other guys have said. I thought it was, when you look at it, I don't think it was a red card based on just a slip. I think most likely a yellow would have been sufficient for it.
Callum Hawkins?
Yeah, Callum Hawkins. I know. It must be that McDonald's was absolutely zapping his life.
No, I need Callum to say, "You have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful."
Yes.
Right. Anyway, let's move on, everyone. Right, that kind of does wrap us up. But do not leave, everybody. Stay tuned to Partly Podcast, because in the next 10 minutes or so, let's say 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Quarter past, we'll be live. Quarter past 8, we'll be live on YouTube to play some more FIFA. We'll be playing our original Park Lane FC team. Kirk will join us. He's come all the way back from Centre Parks just to play FIFA tonight. So expect big things or not from Fleur East. Either you know or you don't know. If you don't know,
get to know.
Yeah, exactly. But Wes, thank you very much again. Loyal, on time. A star for you this week.
Thank you.
How can everybody find you?
Back?
Yeah, how can everybody find me? Is Twitter's at Wezo10, unofficial Mr. Dembele fan account, as everyone knows by now. Usually tweeting things about best Belgian to play in the Premier League. Instagram's at Wezo32. Like I said, I was at the game on Thursday. I don't think I'm due back at Spurs until roughly the middle of October when we play West Ham, which is a lunchtime kickoff, so that'll be rather interesting. And yeah, football coaching business in Milton Keynes. So, you know, when I was mentioning before about Archie Gray, hit me up for that 1-to-1, mate. So Kofa MK across socials for that, and then WM32 Football as well on socials for some football content as well.
Amazing. Winnie, I know you were on time-ish. You know, I left you in the background, but
You did. Yes.
how can everyone find you?
I'm glad you addressed that. Winnie 1991 on Twitter. And obviously you can see me here 7 till 8, 7:05 we'll say, 7:05 till 8. And then obviously straight on the FIFA streams. Obviously it's FC24 this week, but potentially maybe the next couple of weeks we'll be switching over to FC25.
Yeah, definitely. We're keeping you all waiting. And Callum, you now no longer sound like Stephen Hawking, so how can everyone find you?
Wonderful. At least I don't sound like a Dalek, so I'm all good, mate. Obviously you can find me at CamStubbs97 on Twitter, and have fun playing FIFA, boys.
Cheers, mate. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in this week. It's been really, really good. And every week, to be honest, we've now done 100 episodes, so please make sure you are clicking the subscribe button. Make sure you're liking the video as well and tuning in every week to us every Sunday, 7 p.m, but also to the Fat Pod lads on 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night as well, as it did take us a long time this week to finally give away some money, which people seem to not want. But if you do want money, make sure you're in our FPL League and make sure you are subscribed to the channel and tuned in to Twitter. Until next time, well, we'll see you in about 10 minutes. But if you don't, we'll see you next week for another episode of Parlay Podcast and a massive come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.